molding sand. Molding sand is used to make sand molds in sand casting. It is building block for molds, and depending upon the sand used, the properties of final casting varies. So it is important to study types of molding sands and its properties. In previous video, we have discussed types of molding sand, and in this video, we are going to discuss properties of molding sand. So properties of molding sand are porosity, flowability, collapsibility, adhesiveness, cohesiveness, refractoriness. First of all, we need to understand that these properties are dependent on chemical composition, amount of clay, water content, and shape and size of silica grain. Let's discuss the first property, porosity. It is also known as permeability. That is, it permits gases through it. When molten metal is poured in mold, the gases in metal need to escape. Also, the moisture in the sand, when get heated by molten metal, it needs to escape through the sand itself. Otherwise, these gases may get trapped in the casting, creating blowholes. It is a defect. Hence, the sand must be sufficiently porous to allow the gases to escape through it. Note that excessive ramming may lead less porosity. The next property is flowability. It is important to get good impression of pattern in sand. Flowability means ability to flow. The sand must flow to intricate corners and around the shape of pattern. When sand is rammed, it will flow to take the required shape. That is flowability. The next property is collapsibility. When the molten metal in molds solidifies, it contracts. If the sand does not collapse, the material will crack or tear. So, the another important property the sand should have is collapsibility. Collapsibility is nothing but the ability to collapse or to break for the sake of shrinkage of the casting. The next property is adhesiveness. It is adhering to another particle. This property is important to prepare molds. Otherwise, the mold may collapse. For this purpose, clay is added into the sand. Adhesiveness is the sticking of sand particles to the mold wall so that the mold can be prepared. The next property is cohesiveness. It is ability to stick together. When pattern is pressed in sand, the sand particles should stick together to form the impression. Cohesiveness is sticking of one sand particle to another, while adhesiveness is sticking of sand particle to other particle like the mold wall. The next property is refractoriness. It is ability of sand to withstand high temperature of molten metal without fusion. If the sand fuses, it may burn into the molten metal, creating defect in the casting. So, these are important properties of molding sand.